Hey everybody, Mac here, and we're going to talk about how to deal with radicals, okay, or the square root signs. And so remember, this is going to be version A. I have other versions as well, and those are going to deal with cubed roots when we put other numbers other than, right here. And so if you need to look at that, look at versions B and C, and you can find all this at maxtutorials.com, where you can find more on square roots, a video of me working this out on a whiteboard, and then also, anything you want with math. If you can like and subscribe to this video, I'd really appreciate it. So, back at that Max Tutorials, if you look at chapter 1, we talk about breaking things down in the primes. And so I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to go 4 times 3. 3 can't break down anymore, so I'm going to circle him, or else I start to lose track of who's who. Okay, and so now I've done it. I've broken it down into primes. Now the way square roots are going to work, and that's, by the way, there's like a 2 right there. Now if there's nothing's written, it's assumed to be a 2. What that means is it takes a pair. It takes 2 to get out. Okay, so think about this. They're stuck in jail. Okay, and so these 2 to get out, you need a pair of them, and then one's able to break out. This guy right here, this 3, he doesn't have a friend. He doesn't have a pair, so he's still stuck in, okay? So the answer here is just 2 root 3, okay? Going on to number 2, I have an 18. That's going to break down to 9 times 2, and that's going to break down to 3 times 3, okay? And you can see right here, I've got a pair of 3s, so a 3 will pop out, and the 2 stays in. That's my final answer. I'm going to go down to number 3. This can break down into 4 times 5. Now, what people will also show you, another way to do it, this is really the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. And if that helps you, that's great. And you'll notice, well, square root of 4, I can do square root of 4. Square root of 4 is just 2. So that becomes 2. Square root of 5 I can't do anything with, and I leave it. So if that helps you, that's great. But sometimes a perfect square doesn't always pop out as you're doing this. Okay, these easy ones at the beginning do. Okay, so 9 times 3, and that becomes 3 times 3. Well, I've got 3 3s. Okay, so I can pop one of them out, because remember, I find a pair. So once I find a pair, I pull one out, and I leave the other one in, because he doesn't have a pair. So I finish there. We're only pulling out pairs, okay? This one is going to become 8 times 4. Okay, which this becomes 2 times 2. And this becomes 4 times 2, and this becomes 2 times 2. So all I did was take that 32 and I broke it down, and I realized that there's 5 2's involved, okay? Well, here's my square root. I'm going to pull out one of these 2's. I'm going to pull out another 2. And when I pull more than one out, I multiply them together. And then I have this guy right here left over, so he stays in. Once I multiply these, my answer is 4 square root of, well, what am I doing? Of 2, okay? One way you can check is whatever you pull out, square it. So take 4 and square it. What do you get? You get 16, right? What's 16 times 2? 32. And that's a way to double check your work, okay? Let's go on to number 45. This is just 9 times 5. Again, knowing your multiplication tables really helps. If for some reason you're still struggling with that, take a minute, go back, and really lock in your multiplication tables, okay? And this will be way easier if you do. Okay, so I have a pair of 3s, so I pull out my 3, and I leave in my 5. Okay, that's all you do. All right, so let's go. How did I get from number 6? There we go. Where's number 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm missing lots of things here. Okay, well, that's interesting. I'm just going to go on and finish this worksheet out, and maybe I'll fix this in a later video. Okay, so this, I know 75 back in my day, way back then, we used to have quarters, and we would use them because coins were still things. And so 3 times 75 is 3 quarters, or 3 times 25 cents, which is 5 times 5. Okay, so now I take a look at everything I have left, and I realize that, oh, look, I got a pair of 5s. My 3 stays in. Now, if you can see right away that once you get to 25, oh, that's just the square root of 25, I pull a 5 out. That's great. But sometimes we need to do that. Okay, now I'm looking at this 9 times 8, and I'm going, wow, that's a really big number. I'm not sure. And so you have to start thinking about, what can you do here? Well, I noticed that it's an even number, so I'm just going to divide it by 2. Okay, we're going to make it real simple. 2 goes in the 9 4 times. with 1 left over. Okay, 2 goes into 18 9 times. If you notice right now, you probably notice that square root of 49 is 7, so you're just going to pull out a 7. I'm just going to do this for completion's sake, but if you see that earlier, just pull out your 7. Oh, look, a pair of 7s. And who's left over? The 2. Okay? 147. Okay, so now when I look at 147, well, what goes into 147? Well, again, in that chapter 1 video at Max Tutorials, I talk about things you can do. And one thing I taught you is that if you add up the digits of any number, so 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 7 is 12. I added these up and it became 12. Is 12 divisible by 3? Yeah, 3 will go into 12. If 3 will go into whatever number comes out after adding the digits, it means 3 will go into this. So I know that I can put 3 into this number. How many times will 3 go into 14? 4 times. With how many left over? 2. How many times will 3 go into 27? 9 times. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and so you can see I've got my pair of 7s, and I have a 3 left over. 7 root 3. Okay? As soon as I see that 20, I know that a 200, I know that 100 will go in there twice. And I know 100 is 10 times 10. Now let's stop here for a minute. You're just pulling out any pair. I can break down the 10 into 5s and 2s. I certainly can do that. However, once you see these are not prime, but I'm circling them anyway because I found a match. Once you find a match, boom, pull it out. You don't need to break that match down any further. Okay, now you can 5 times 2, 5 times 2, pull out a 5, pull out a 2, and you're going to get 10. But once you see a pair, as soon as you see a pair, pull it out. 242, well, shoot. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 2 is 8, so 3 won't go in. So the only number that really pops out to me is 2. So I'm going to go 2 times. 2 will go into 2 once. It'll go into 4 twice. 2 will go into 2 once. Now, I'm hoping that 121 means something to you. If you learn your multiplication tables as a 12 by 12, which, a lot of times you do, this would be 11 times 11. Okay? And so now when I do my square root, the 11 pops out, and the 2 is left over. Okay? And the last one I have right here, let's see, can 3 go into this? I know 2 can because the even number. Let's see if I can get 3 in here. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 8 is 18. 3 will go into 18, 3 will go into this. So I'm going to break this down into 3 times. 3 goes into 28 how many times? 9, because 9 times 3 is 27. Ooh, what happened there? Okay, and I'll have 1 left over. 3 will go into 18 6 times. All right, 96, cool. I still don't know where really goes into there, but I know 3 will. 3 will go in there. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into 6 twice, 32. Now I can break that down to 8 times 4. I can break that down to 2 times 2, and I can break that, always circle or else you're going to lose your place. 4 times 2, I'm just going to bring this all the way down, even the 4. All right, let's find our pairs. Well, you probably noticed there's a pair of 3s. All right, let's pull out a 3. Okay? Look, there's a pair of 2s. Cool, let's pull out a 2. Look, there's a pair of 2s. Cool, let's pull out the 2. Okay, and what's left over? I have 1, 2 left over, so it stays inside. Now multiply together. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 root 2 would be my answer. Okay, and I notice that 12 times 12 is 144. 144 divided times 2, that would be 288. Now, if I would have used 2 instead of 3 there, I would have seen this. 288, and I would have got 2 times 144. And if you notice that is 12 times 12. Look at that. You circle, you don't even break down the 12s. You just pull out the 12. So sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Okay, so I don't know what happened to all these extra problems, so maybe I'll make a new video at some point. But at least for these are the correct answers. So there you go. Enjoy them, and let's pretend like we did 16 when we only really did 12. All right, good job, guys. But don't worry, there's plenty more. Go on to version B, and you'll see a lot there. See you guys there.